you're on the journey, like, figuring out what works for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I got super depressed a couple of months, so, like, that's why I gained so much. I gained over 40 pounds within 2 years, which I've been at my heaviest, like, right now. And it's crazy because I've always been, like, really, really skinny. And I used to get made fun of in school because I was super skinny. So, like, boys would make fun of me saying, like, oh, you have no boobs and no butt, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. So, like, it's like, okay, fine. And then I think just once I got really depressed, I just, boom. Like,
but did you eat and get big or just?
Yes, I was emotionally eating. Like, every single minute. Like, there's no self-control whatsoever. So, like, it's so gross, but there was a time where, like, for 2 weeks straight, I would eat probably a loaf of bread a day. Like, that's how bad it was, because I was just so, like, stressed and angry and sad.
Interesting.
Yeah, so... And then I would get so hurt for, like, comments that were made towards me. I was just like, ugh, like, leave me alone. Let me eat my bread. And
right.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were skinny and then you put on weight, like, really fast, did people start making fun of you for that, too?
It was more so the comments at home by, like, my mom and my grandma or my aunts. Like, just saying, oh, look at you, like, and then pinching my sides. Or like, oh, you're getting big. And it's like, you don't say that to someone. That's so hurtful. And I think it's just a cultural thing.
Okay.
If you either eat too much, you're fat. Or if you don't eat too much, you're too skinny. You know? So there's no in between. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I totally get that with the, like, you're getting fat, like, you need to, like, watch what you're eating, but at the same time, everything that's around you is bad for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, like, how, like...
Yeah.
That's, like, when I moved out of my parents' house...
Yeah.
is when, like, I was healthiest. Because I was finally, like...
able to choose what you ate and...
Yeah. Yeah, and even still, like, yes, I had the choice at home, too. Yeah. You have the choice, but it's so much harder, like, when you come home from, like, a long day at work or whatever, and there's already food, and you're like, okay, I just want to eat, but...
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's not really, like, feasible for you to turn around and go make your own healthy meal. So you're just kind of...
Yeah, because it's weird for me. It actually started once I got my first job. Because, you know, like, at home, my mom never, ever bought fast food growing up.
Okay.
So, forget it. Like, it was always home-cooked meals. And
we got beans at home.
But hearty meals,
yeah, and my mom was a single mom. So, like, she worked, you know, a full-time job, and so she would stock the fridge or whatever with whatever, you know. But my metabolism was so good that I could eat anything.
Right.
And, you know, once after high school, you're not working out the way you did when you had PE every day. So, you know, fast forward to, like, first serious job, you're going out. I work with special needs adults, adults with developmental disabilities. Okay. So, I know special needs isn't really, like, a term a lot of people like to use. Okay. But, I mean, I use it still.
Why isn't it?
It's person first language, so there's so many different terms to use. Special needs is often used by the school district, like special education, special needs kids. It's just evolved so much. I'm still used to saying it, but I catch myself sometimes when I say, okay, like, developmental disabilities. But when we're out, we're going to McDonald's, we're going to, like, Taco Bell every single day, you know, because they get $5 a day for food, and so their pleasure is food. They might not have the same pleasures as we do, like, sexually, emotionally, so theirs is food. So you're also indulging in that with them, and you're like, ugh, again, the cake, again, the burgers, and
you can't suggest, like, something healthier?
You know, and you can. You totally can. But there are those...
It's just that's what they want.
Yeah, okay. You know, so it's always been just kind of taught. You don't really want to force them to eat something else because it's their right. So if they do choose the burger, like, they are going to get the burger. You can't tell someone, you can't get that today. You're going to get a chicken sandwich, you know, or, like, a salad. And it was a lot of behaviorally challenged adults, so of course if you even suggest a salad, you're gonna get punched in the face.
Right, okay.
So you indulge with them because you're like, well, whatever, like, you know, this is what I'm gonna eat. So then I started noticing from there, it was just like going crazy. And then working right next to a Jack in the Box, you know, sometimes you might not even get a lunch break, so you're like, I'm running there getting something off the dollar menu.
Yeah. And I eat a lot of fast food too, just because it's a treat for me because I have 3 kids. So like on my lunch break, I'm going to go wherever the heck I want to go. I usually eat tacos or burritos or something, but I still go to, like, I only have to spend, you know, $10 or something. I don't have to spend 30 or $40 because I have 3 kids or whatever. So
and healthy food, unfortunately, is so expensive.
I eat a lot of healthy food too, but
it's crazy, like going into Trader Joe's, you know, and spending like $40 on stuff that is only like 3 or 4 items, and then but you could go to like Taco Bell and get $40 worth of tacos.
That'll last.
So but it's been cool to see that I've been able to discipline myself in that area where I'm just like, no.
I like Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I think also you have to like train yourself like what you're gonna get, because Trader Joe's is actually pretty cheap.
Yeah,
it is. It's true.
But like
it doesn't work for families.
Yeah,
it's not big enough portions.
Well, yeah, like you would have to buy like 2 bags and stuff, but still, like if you like break down the prices, it's still like comparable to like a Ralph's or like whatever, and I
or like, Vaughn's.
Vaughn's is especially Vaughn's is like Trader Joe's is comparable to Vaughn's for sure.
It is. It's so true.
But then you also know that you're getting just like a little bit more higher quality.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have their.
I feel like eggs are cheaper, milk's cheaper, alcohol's cheaper, bread's cheaper.
You could.
To me, I feel like the items I buy at Trader Joe's, cheese is cheaper.
It does depend on the items. It's true.
Like produce is not that.
I don't buy produce.
Yeah.
But see, like at Sprout, I like Sprouts. They're only their sale items. Or like, you just have to figure it out. Erica does not like Sprouts at all.
You know, I actually don't. Like, there's just I don't know.
It feels like you're cheating on Trader Joe's for one thing.
You know, and if I do want to go to like a fancy supermarket, I won't even step into Lazy Acres because I can't even afford the food there. But Sprouts, I'm like, I'd rather just.
What Sprouts do you go to?
The one in Lakewood.
Okay, that one blows.
Really?
Yes, it sucks balls. The Sprouts here is good.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep that.
Except for their discrimination policy.
Yeah.
You know what they do? Because I've gone a couple of times to ask about employment, and one of the managers, 3 times at 3 different Sprouts, they've turned us away, and they've said, "Oh, sorry, we already have their kind working here."
What?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm not even kidding. That's a majority of places. Cinemark at the Pike, they discriminate a little bit. They'll say, we already have like 4 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they could be talking about your race. They could also be talking about women as well.
Well, the thing is like if you're gonna talk about somebody different than you as them or like words like that, then who else? What other demographic are you going to refer?
Yeah. Or even what's that other place too? Oh, LA Fitness. I walked in one time, I'm pretty friendly, and I asked, "Are you guys currently hiring?" And the receptionist was super, super nice to me. And then all of a sudden, when I mentioned, the employment is actually not for me, I am trying to help our vocational program find employment. And, I try not to say, like, that they have disabilities, because I don't want to put someone in that situation where, what if I had a disability and I don't want people to know right off the bat? Mm-hmm. It makes others uncomfortable.
Because you're not Sahara, you're a disability.
Yes, Yeah. So, like, I don't want to use, like, an ableist term that's going to put someone in an uncomfortable spot because I'm putting them on blast,
Mm-hmm.
So I just say vocational program. That's pretty easy to recognize, like, okay, like, so you're supporting people. And so then she was just kind of dumbfounded, and I said, well, like helping anyone with a developmental disability, and she was still kind of like, what? And so then I said, you know, anyone with autism, anyone with Down syndrome, you know. And so then she goes, you know, I don't think my boss would actually be interested in hiring someone like that.
But she's the receptionist. How the hell do you know?
Like,
because there's a culture too,
right?
So, yeah.
So she does know.
She was like, you know, I don't think they would be able to answer like phones and.
I mean the
show.
The show.
Or clean equipment. And so I was like, actually, you know, I do have a couple of people that have their bachelor's degrees.
Oh, boom.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Do you partake?
Yeah. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because then you'll eat carbs.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Because you would also think that there's a whole like business opportunity for them too. Like you could have workers there, and then have a whole program, and then have a program led by like
you're gonna
there's so much potential.
You're gonna hire a 19-year-old that's gonna unfortunately call out sick every other day because they might have a hangover from partying. Come on, we've all been there. We all call sick, you know?
Yeah, or you're not even working. You're just socializing and talking on your phone, or like.
But then you're hiring someone who really wants a chance.
Your people might actually be better than this 19-year-old kid.
Yeah, exactly, and you know, they're being shut down every opportunity because people doubt them and say like they can't do it. But then you get them, and they're the ones who stay there until, you know, God forbid the employee or the employer
until the building shuts down.
Yeah. So it's just crazy to see like how much discrimination is out there, and it's such an underrated topic.
Well, it's not underrated, but the topic specifically you're talking about with special needs, that's underrated.
Yeah.
But like discrimination is
definitely not. It's such a big thing. Yeah. But you know, we hear about like the racism, we hear about the sexism, but we hardly ever hear about ableism. And if we do, it's very, very minor, you know. That's how I've seen it, because we see like, you know, musicians sing about like women and, you know, like POC, but we don't really hear about, hey, this model, we hear, model with Down syndrome. You know, and we have to put the disability there. Just like when racial profiling, or you're not comparing them because they're totally different, like, topics, and they're different.
But they're talked about the same way, which is why there's such a stigma, like, and even like a subconscious stigma. Like, you're not even aware of it till you are.
Yeah. It's just crazy, like, being in this field and seeing what like happens, or like you could be on the bus having a good day, and then all of a sudden someone uses the R word and says, "Get off the bus! Like, you don't belong here." And it's like, really? Like, come on.
Yeah, like, why do you even have to like put forth the energy to be an asshole? Like,
like you're just embarrassing yourself. Like, you know. But then it's just crazy.
Yeah. So that's So you are taking on all of that as well, like that emotional weight.
Yeah, and so that's what led to my weight gain.
Yeah.
Kind of. Not really, but... stress,
part of it.
Yeah, like you said, is emotional eating, so it's like... And also, like, I've read and heard from other people that are into, like, fitness and stuff, and they say that, holding on to like emotional hurt, like at the same time, will also keep weight on.
It's like it's so true. It's true.
Like it's just like the stress, and so because you're stressed out, your body acts as if it's stressed out, so it holds on to those fat storages.
Yeah.
Because it might need them, but then once you relax, you're like, I don't need this shit no more. It's kind of funny because you really don't.
Yeah. No,
that's just like a natural human reaction, kind of like flight or fight, kind of.
Like anxiety.
It can tell like you're in danger, like physically, so it's storing up just in case. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like caveman mentality, kind of like
it's so
survival.
True, because you know, being like a one-on-one with the groups, when I used to do like one-on-one, you did have that mentality, like, and that kind of paranoia, like, oh, this person standing at the, at the bus stop with us is probably judging them, or you know, saying something about them. Even, like, if someone stared at my group, I would get so offended. I get so offended, and it's something that I just, like, hold on to still, even though I'm just, like, you know, they could probably be thinking, like, oh, that's so cool to see that this person's being treated equally, or, you know, but it's just that stare. When people stare at someone, you know, it's like, come on, like, have you not ever seen another human being? Like,
yeah. And you're internalizing also, like, imagining how bad they must feel. Like, if you feel so bad about it, how bad do they feel about it?
Yeah, you know, like,
they know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, also I was hearing something. One of my professors was talking about it. Totally unrelated. We were talking about negotiating, bargaining and negotiating class. So he was just talking about relating, like, tactics to, like, you know, things that make people feel uncomfortable staring. He said, I went to Spain and I was with a friend and he was really sticking out and everybody stared at him, but nobody made an issue out of it. And he goes, it was there in Spain that I found out that there is no word in Spanish for staring.
Yeah, there isn't.
And he goes, like, the more you travel around the world, people stare at you. And
that's, yeah.
And when you ask, like, he goes, I asked, like, why, like, what's the deal? It's because part of, like, business relations, like, with other cultures as well. It's part of staring. Just like some cultures want a soft handshake. We pride, like,
a firm handshake.
Yeah. So he's saying, he goes, it's really, like, our culture. He goes, they're not staring at you like, what the heck is this guy? Like, you're just interesting. That's what it is. You're different and you're interesting, and they're looking at you.
You know, it's crazy because one time, like, one of my really, really good friends, she has Down syndrome. So I take her out once in a while. Not like, you know, oh, like, she's my buddy or whatever, but because we have such a good relationship, and she's just the funniest person ever. So we've just developed that relationship where I'm like, come on, let's go hang out. I'll take her home. Like, you know, my mom feeds her. Everybody loves her because she's such a hoot. So one day I was like, you know, I'm kind of bored. I'm going to see what she's doing. So I picked her up from her house, and she really wanted to go to Hometown Buffet. Personally, I'm not a fan. I think it's just gross. So I'm like, whatever, like, she can
get some ice cream.
Yeah. So she's, like, packing on her plate, and I'm like, cool, whatever, like, I'll join you. Yeah, so, like, we're walking back, and I don't know if it's the crowd or, like, the environment that Hometown Buffet has.
I mean, there's so many people.
Plus, it's just, like, a weird, like,
you know, yeah, like, I don't know what it is, but every single person that we were just walking by to, like, go sit down at a booth was just staring at her. And then there was this group of teenage girls that were sitting at the table across from us. They all just start laughing, and I can see this girl, like, zooming in and taking a picture. I almost lost it, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna bite my tongue and not even say anything, because I don't even know if, you know, these kids have, like, a weapon, if they do something. So I was just like, whatever. Like, I don't want to...
I don't even know if these motherfuckers is strapped. You're over here at the Hometown Buffet. Okay, the Asian grandma with that walker is strapped.
The Hometown Buffet in Lakewood. So,
yes.
So I don't know, like, what happened there. But I'm just like, you know, the guy with the neck tattoo over there, I really don't...
No, but
he's actually
everybody was going to have your back. He was going to have your back.
Like, you know, I don't know. Like, he's staring at us, whatever. You know, so then she turns to me, and it just pissed me off that the fact that she even had to explain this to me, and she says, it's okay. People stare at me all the time. It hurts my feelings, but you get used to it.
Did you say something to her?
The girls?
No, the girl, your friend.
Oh, I was holding back the tears because I was just so frustrated, and I said, nobody should ever do that to you. I said, no, you don't deserve this. You are a human. And I said, eat your plate, we're walking out. And then I went to the front and I just explained, hey, you know what? We felt really uncomfortable. My friend here couldn't even enjoy her meal. Is there any way we can get a refund? They were super nice about it. They were like, you know what? We're sorry that even happened. Here's your money back.
Awesome.
We ended up going to, like, round 1 and spending it all on the arcade games.
Sweet.
But, yeah.
I think I would have said something to the girls. Like, at least on my way out, maybe.
You know,
that was, like, super rude. I just would have been, because I'm a lot older, and if they're teenagers, I would have just let them know, like...
I mean, like, I've learned my lesson with doing that in the past. Okay. Like, saying, like, hey, have a nice day. And then someone was like, you fucking stupid, smart-ass bitch. Who the fuck do you think you are? And I'm like, okay, whatever, like, cool. It's just not even a battle that I'm gonna try. Like, whatever. Like, enjoy your day.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very hard to separate yourself, though. I have my sisters, like, now, growing up, I know that they're autistic. Yeah. But growing up, we didn't. And my grandma would always say, like, to people, like, well, she's special. Mm. And my sister would just hate that. And I would, like, if I was there, I would be able to, like, cut my grandma off before. So I feel like I'm aware of these things, but I don't work in the field. So I just am not aware of how many people are not aware. You know, and it's true because a lot of people aren't educated on these things, especially if they're growing up in an environment where they're told, you know, like they're not being different. Told, you know, like or it's if it's not, it could just not even be discussed. Yeah, like I'm totally okay with kids like questioning, like, why is he like this? Why is she like this? Because it's good for them to question these things because you can explain to them. But, you know, it sucks when you see someone who's never been taught, hey, like, you know, this isn't the way that you should ask or you should do things. Or just even kids laughing at other kids, you know? Like, when I worked with children, oh my gosh, some of the kids that I worked with, I was like, you're a demon. You are terrible. Like, you were born an asshole. Yeah. You know, like, making fun of a girl with Down syndrome, laughing at her, saying like, ugh, like, she's so ugly, look at her. And I'm just like, listen here, you little shit. Like, she's cuter than you, and she's better than you, and she'll be smarter than you'll ever be. Right. You know, you're just gonna end up in jail anyway. Wow. Wow.
And your parents don't love you.
You're adopted. And then you cry.
That's not your real daddy.
It's just funny, like, seeing kids interact, and at least you can nip it in the butt with them at that age, but once they're teenagers, forget it. You know, unless they've somehow turned themselves around and become decent human beings. But high school kids are the worst. They cannot stand high schoolers with anxiety.
Don't, like, you see them, like, say you're at a fast food joint or something, and they're in line, and or sitting at the tables, and they're just acting a fool and loud and just doing all kinds of unnecessary things. But I think back, like, I was that same little asshole.
I think I was really scared of my grandma and my mom growing up, so I was too afraid to even, like, do anything bad. I mean, I think the worst thing I ever did was, like, steal a sticker or something from, like, those sticker magazines at the grocery stores. Okay. So, like, oh, heck no, if I just always had that mentality, like, what if I do this right now and then my mom pops up out of nowhere, you know? Oh, goodness. So, like, I was just so, like, scared as a kid, but when I see kids like that, or if I see them in, like, huge clusters, I'm just like, oh, they're gonna attack me, or they're gonna, like, kill me right now, or something. They're gonna sacrifice me.
It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. Yeah, I don't trust teenagers.
No.
I don't.
Oh, no.
I mean, the ones I don't know. Yeah. Especially in, like, groups. Like,
No way.
That's funny. I've never really thought about it, and I've never really had a problem with teenagers.
I think it's just, I don't know, some are cool. Teenage girls are really catty. Even to, like, once you're out of high school, you still deal with them, you're just like, you little bitch. Like, I think I was at Flame Broiler, and I was getting food, and the girl was like, what's your name? So I told her, oh, Sahara. And then there's, like, these teenage girls behind me, and they go, oh, that's a really funny name. And I just turn around, like, smack! Your fucking name, like, Cindy or Ashley or something. Right.
Oh, did you?
I wish.
Yeah. And tell me how it's spelled,
too. With your dumbass mama.
It was, like, very fucking original, okay, Brittany? Right. So it's just like, whatever. I don't care.
Wow.
Wait, are we recording?
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Hey, that's cool. Intro the show. It's all good though. Like we're gonna start back then. But hey, welcome.
Oh yeah. I forgot. So it's me, Judy again.
I'm Erica,
and today we have Sahara.
Hi.
Welcome.
So Sahara is like my cousin's girlfriend.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What is that? Cousin-in-law.
Cousin-in-law.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now she's my cousin. So.
Yeah.
So anyhow, she's super cool. I think like out of like everybody, like you are my favorite.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Like all the girlfriends, you're funny because like you talk. Like otherwise, they're just like really quiet and like.
I talk so much.
Kind of like
you did great so far. It was like super engaging and
then I like when you talk about like some people just don't have anything to talk about and like you have like things like ideas and like just
on forever. I'm just like
no, that was a great topic. Like that was cool.
Yeah, totally because like you said, like there's just there really isn't enough awareness and that's how is your almond eyes?
It's been so good. So I started this project. A lot of people are like really confused about the name, but almond eyes is
cheers.
So characteristic of someone with Down syndrome is that they have almond shaped eyes.
Okay.
So, you know, oftentimes doctors or just anyone in the field kind of says like, oh, they're, you know, like stereotyping that. So I use that as like the opposite, more so embracing the fact, you know, that people with Down syndrome have such beautiful shaped eyes.
Okay.
And that's what makes them special. So I named my project after that.
Okay.
And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do dances and events for people with developmental disabilities. So I have one coming up in June 30th. So you guys are invited. And it's going to be tons of fun. I'm doing dancing, a photo booth, a DJ, snacks. Just kind of getting people
like a party,
together.
right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you
cool.
know, like make it fun.
Okay.
You don't
like
really
a social,
see that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the only other place that I know is Special Olympics. But I'm also trying to develop lap pads. So sensory lap pads for people with autism. I know that's like a sensory delight for a lot of people. So just making them a lot friendlier, a lot more cost efficient for families.
Now, what is this? What are you? I'm not aware.
So like a lot of people that have like if they do feel very frustrated, if they have behaviors, it could be like anybody. A lap pad just is like a weighted pad that you put on your lap.
Okay.
And it
kind of like the cardiologist.
Yes, like it just calms them down.
X-ray thing.
For me, I use my purse on my lap while I'm driving because I get really fidgety and nervous.
Okay.
A lot of occupational therapists use it, so it's a really cool device to just kind of keep someone calm. And we've noticed with people who tend to vocalize a lot and scream and kick, if you put something on their lap, boom, like they're doing awesome. So just having that resource for families with low income, making them super cost efficient, environmentally friendly. And I want to have every single model in my project to have a disability. So everybody modeling my projects, everybody modeling my shirts, everything I want to represent people with disabilities.
It's their thing. Kind
of. You know, it definitely. And just naming every item, everything that I come up with after someone that I know with a disability. So just making it really fun and unique. Still in the works, but it's gotten a pretty good reaction so far.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So that's what I have going on.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah, okay. So, well, I was thinking that how, like, the emotional, like, burden of, like, work. Okay, so you have this work, and that's how it expressed itself. And I was thinking, like, Erica.
I have issues right now.
Yeah.
So kind of the same thing, like anxiety.
Yeah, definitely.
So how, and then it also relates to how you're having this party, because I was telling her, so she loves to, like, make music, produce, so she's, like, usually by herself. Okay, so I was like, dude, like, you gotta, like, go out. And so she thinks that I'm, like, just trying to get her to party.
No. And when she said you need to get out more, I said, I don't want to get out.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah, and so I was just telling, like, this is why, like, you have to get out, because you have to, like, talk to people, and, like, we're humans, we need social interaction. And then it just by hanging out with people, just like as you're doing right now, like, you're talking about what you're going through. And that's also kind of like what I like about this show is to talk about, like, nobody knows, like, this field that you're in, like, it's crazy. So it's like real people, like, with real stories, and, like, it enlightens you. Like, there's this whole group of people that you probably, like, we're so focused on, like, all these other issues, and then, like, yes, here's another one, but it's very important at the same time. And, like, that's what I feel like this era that we're in right now is just about, like, talking about everything, and it's mostly just us normal people, and
sharing amongst cultures. I think also, like, because, like, people have just stayed within their culture for so long, like, and I think this presidency is really making us, like, kind of say, fuck this, we need to talk. Like, there's no reason why Latinos and Black people should not be, like, the best of fucking friends.
They should
like,
not be divided. Totally.
Yeah, like, and if you look, like, back in the day, like, when Africans did first come here, like, we were together, and it was always
Native American, Latinos, and Black people, Africans at that time.
Yeah, and so it was always, like, the Spanish trying to divide the two. So then it's like, because the same things, like, together we're stronger. Yeah, which we're, like, kind of, I'd like to think we're starting to prove now. We'll see. Yeah, but definitely. But nonetheless, like, that, so, like I'm saying, it's like, just by hanging out with friends, like, just calling a friend, like, getting out of your element, eventually, like, part of what's going on with you will come out. Yeah. Instead of, like, bottling it all up, like, it has to come out. And, like, yeah, it is very important also to have your own hobbies and, like, spend time alone as well. But also, like, you have to, like, you know, just be aware of that part too.
Because basically, I'm a homebody. Like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go anywhere. Like, I come here every Wednesday now, but like, I don't know. I just don't want to. Like, my friends will have something really fun to do, and I'm like, I'll say yeah at first, and then I'm like, man, why'd I say yeah?
That
like,
is
I don't really
me. Go. I'm the friend that everybody claps like, yay, she actually made it to something. Right? No, it's funny because my boyfriend Judy's cousin is away on tour right now because he's a musician. Okay. I'm at home every day. I like to go home. I like my bed. I like sitting in my bed. I like being at home. Yeah. I don't know. And so if I do go out, I'm just like, ugh.
And I want to go home.
When do I go home?
Yeah, I want to go home. Sure, not now, but like, I literally want to go home, like, a lot when I'm out. So
I'm just like, it's 9:00. It's too late. I have to go home.
Well, that's why you day drink.
Yeah. I have some days where, like, I don't want to go home. Like, dang, like that time we were at Antoine, I was like, shit, I'm out now. Shit, like,
like, I'm wide awake on my second win.
It just depends. It depends on what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I get bored. I get, like, stir crazy. Like, I do, like, there are times, like, this past weekend, like, I had to just say no because, like, I was tired. Like, I was like, dude, if I keep going, I'm gonna look like I kept going.
Plus Friday.
Oh yes. Plus we have 420 party on Friday.
Oh my gosh.
It ended up turning into, like, a party. Like,
it was good.
It was just supposed to be us, and then like
people came through.
Yeah, totally. One thing led to another.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was funny.
I think last Friday I was just so tired. I was like fuck this, I'm going home right after work, and I think I knocked out. I did, actually, yeah. And I was also broke, so...
Right. That'll keep you home, too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's another reason why I don't like going out. Because it's like, anytime you go out, you spend money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you just get more money.
Yeah. It just comes back. It's fine.
Yeah. I've, like, been, like, living by that mantra, like, lately.
Yeah, it's
like,
true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah, it's like, whatever I give out, I get back 3 times.
All right.
I should try that.
Yeah, try it. Like, I, like, just, like, little, like, things I always say, like, just little affirmations. I'm totally into affirmations. Because, like, this is another thing, like, we were talking about fear as well. Yeah. First of all, like, you grow up with fear of God. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then you grow up with fear of your parents. Mm-hmm. So you're always, like, living in fear. So then you start, like, fearing, like, your own life. So I was, like, remember one time, and to get from Long Beach to San Pedro, you used to have to pay a toll. Yes. Okay, so we didn't. God.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, so you used to have to pay a toll, and it was like, I don't even remember.
It was like $2 or something.
Yeah, it was like, something like that. And my mom said, like, we don't have enough money, so we have to, like, we're gonna have to take the long way, so we gotta leave early. And I was like, what do you mean we don't have enough money? Like, it's just too, like, I remember saying, look under the couch.
I really? Crazy.
Yeah, and so, like, things, I remember, like, my mom was like, we don't have enough money for this, we don't have enough. So I always, like, oh my God, I'm not gonna have enough money. Like I would always think like that. And so then I just, like, got into this pattern, and I was like, what? And then I read this, like, this Buddhist, like, book, and it was more like power of the mind, and then just, like, things follow. Then I, like, read this article, and these people that did, like, knee surgery, like, placebo, and had 100% satisfactory results. Yeah. So I'm like, shit, well, maybe there is something. And there's this, like, book by Florence Scovel Shinn. Like, it kind of, like, relates the Bible to, like, the Bible and God to, like, us and, like, the stories and just, like, so it's essentially just changing how your mind thinks. And then I was also relating to, like, how, like, through, like, our grandmothers were fearful. Like, our great-grandma. Right. Like, so not only, like, do we have...
They taught us fear as well.
Yeah. So not only do we have this, like, for our daily life, like, growing up, we have it in our DNA.
You know what's crazy is... I mean, I'm only 25. Mm-hmm. But I've just obviously, like, grown out of all of that. But it's just so funny to see my grandma, who just came from Mexico, I want to say, like, 3 months ago. No, actually, 2 months ago. Oh my goodness, the minute she walked into her house, she started hanging up crosses, and there's, like, tons of pictures of Jesus everywhere. Like, I'm still afraid of her. So I will never, ever tell her, Grandma, I don't believe in the same stuff that you do, because I'll get my ass whooped, you know?
Right.
Like, she handed me a grocery. She handed me a rosary, and I was just like, oh, yeah, thanks, Grandma, that's so cool. And I just kind of put it up, and I was like, I don't believe in all of this. So it's just funny, because it's so true. I'm still fearful of her, because, you know, she could pop me upside the head any minute for anything. And she's the type of person you do not even argue with, even if she is incorrect. Like, if she's wrong, you let her believe that she's right, because she has the upper hand. So, yeah. Like, I don't even know how she snuck in a cross, like, this huge cross from Mexico, and it's hanging up in the house. And it's Jesus on the cross, and there's, like, fake blood on him. And I'm like, where the hell did you get that from? Who took you shopping? You stay in the house all day. Grandma, like, how did you even sneak that in? How do they let you in with that?
It was a cross.
Yeah. I mean, the same woman who stuffs money in her bras, so whatever she did, cool.
Yeah, good. Better. What's worse, a sock or, like, the bra?
Yeah.
I used to put my money in my sock.
Really?
Like, as a teenager.
I was always too afraid to do that.
Yeah, I was like, I do not want to be the person that has to pull it out of my sock.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You gotta give it to somebody.
Yeah. No, it's
even though I used to just put it like there, but still.
But still, then it's like it was in your sock.
But then, okay, would you rather go like that then?
Yeah.
Yeah, titty money is always better than sock money.
You know what she does? She sews it in her bra.
Have you seen the pocket bra? They have,
yeah.
Yeah.
She, like, I don't know what she does, but all of her bras have money in them.
Already?
She sits there and she just hides money in, like, her chonies and her bras, whatever it is.
Oh my god, you know what? That's awesome. So funny that you say that because I fucking do that. I have money in my ashtray. I keep, like, cash everywhere, like, just in case. Oh my god. See, I told you, it's in our DNA.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
But back to the money thing with, like, parents not having enough money. I remember I was probably in kindergarten and I asked my mom, how come we don't have a camera? How come you're not taking pictures of me? And so she just kind of looks at me all, like, baffled. Like, what the hell? Like, why is that your biggest priority? And she goes, because we have no money. And I go, what do you mean you have no money? You have a job. Why can't you buy a camera?
Right. Just go to the ATM.
That's my logic. Like, hello, go to the bank. Ask them for money. So
we were poor, or pretty poor, and my mom never made me realize that.
Yeah, no, same. I lived in an awesome house in Wrigley, and it's crazy because I didn't know how much we would struggle. My adopted mom, who is my aunt biologically, and my grandparents, but I never knew that my mom would only have like $10 for like a month at a time, you know, right. And a lot of it went towards the mortgage because she paid it, and it blows my mind, you know, because she was just telling me this. Yeah, we struggled. There were a couple of times where we couldn't, you know, afford to keep the house, but somehow we made it.
Right.
And whatever we had for food, it was because it was the last of my money. So, you know, I felt bad saying, oh, you know, maybe just wait a little bit, you know. So the fact that they never showed me, like, hey, we're struggling, says a lot, you know. It's crazy. My mom never showed that, or my grandparents never showed that. So
interesting.
I wanted to say one thing that goes way, way, way back that I find it interesting, and I didn't even think of this, is like the emotional stress that your job takes on you and other people that do that job. I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's crazy because, so I started off, like, a little background on, like, how I started. I started off as, like, a best buddy in high school.
Okay.
So that was already just kind of training me, like, okay, this is something that I want to do. And then right after high school, I started early childhood development at LVCC, like the worst school ever. And then I just realized I hated the way that the teachers talked about special education. They just used terms that I was like, I don't like this, you know. It just made me really sad to see that a lot of the people there weren't invested in advocating. They just kind of saw it as like, they're beneath me, like, I'm doing them a favor by helping them. So I took a break, and then I started off as like an LSC, which is like a life skills coach, working with like my groups, and that's when it started just kind of piling on, like, holy shit, people fucking suck. I hate other humans, you know, like, who the hell do you think you are? Dealing with the teenagers on the bus, out in public. And then I promoted to a program coordinator position, which technically I would be a program director. So I managed this program by myself, hardly any support from my supervisor. So I would respond to 911 calls, responding to people choking, responding to assaults, responding to homes, you know, bringing clients in with no food, bringing them in with soiled wheelchairs, every little thing. And it was just so crazy.
Abuse.
Yes. And so it just brought on so much bitterness because I just felt so jaded for such a long time, for about like 2-3 years, that I just couldn't handle coming into work every single day and thinking, now what? You know,
what's going to happen today?
Yeah. You know, we're reading their files thinking, why? You know? And I started losing that passion for it, and I started losing that perseverance and saying, you know, I'm making a difference, because it just felt like one thing after another.
Kind of just took you down a little bit.
Yeah, and so I left, and then I was like on a break for like a month or two, and then I started this job. Or actually, no, I started another company, and the day that I knew I was just like, fuck this, was when I saw a staff member screaming at a girl who had a hearing impairment, and the girl could not understand what she was saying, and the staff member grabbed her by the arm and was shaking her.
Oh, hell no.
So then I gently was like, hey, just, you know, have you tried communicating with her a different way? Maybe Relax. She knows sign language, yeah. Okay. You know, like, or visual language, anything that could help her, gestures. And so then she, I forgot what it was that she told me, but she said something along the lines, like, I've been with the company longer than you, so I know what I'm doing. And so then I just said, you know, just because you're with the company doesn't mean that you have more experience than me, you know? Like,
that means that you should be doing what you're doing right now. Yeah, that doesn't justify that at all.
So I tried to walk away because I was like, I have a big mouth, and I better hold it, and I better just, you know, I'm still a new girl.
You sound pretty reasonable.
You know, yeah, right? I'm still a new girl. Like, I really need the money. Let me find a way to advocate. And so I was like, I'll send an email, and I try to walk away, and this lady grabs me by the arm.
Same lady?
Yes. Oh. She grabs me by the arm, and she says, if I were you, you know, I would try and learn from the people that are here before you, because just because you have all of this experience and you've been doing this and that doesn't mean that you know more than me. And so I was just like, all right. And so then I walked over to the girl because she was in the kitchen area, and I started doing sign language. Mm-hmm. And at first she couldn't understand, and then I realized, okay, I won't use my right hand, I'll use my left hand. And immediately she was like, oh! And so she started signing back to me with her left hand, and we were introducing ourselves to each other. And that's when I realized, you fucking bitch. You didn't even take the time to understand that she obviously can't hear, and she also can't sign with her right hand. She signs with her left hand. And after that, like, I got to know her, and
also that shows you know more than her.
Yeah. So, I mean, I never want to use that, because there could be someone who has been in the field for only a year and they kick ass. Mm-hmm. And I've met people like that. Mm-hmm. It just comes naturally.
It's about compassion, it sounds like.
And then you meet someone who's been in the field for like 20 years and they suck.
She doesn't give a fuck.
They suck. Yeah. You know? And after that, then they try to get me in trouble and say that I ran a red light while working. And I was like,
God damn it.
Where's the ticket?
Yeah, so I was just like, whatever. Like, so then I left, and now I'm with a different company, and I've been there for a month now, and it's been really, really awesome being there, because it brought back my fire, and it brought back why, like, I'm doing this. Okay. And just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you to everyone that, you know.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Who's next?
Yeah. So it's really cool. My mom still doesn't understand what I do. She thinks I'm a teacher or something. So it's just funny, because she's like, yeah, you're students. I'm like, I'm not a teacher, but okay, whatever.
So what is your title or your, yeah, if I said occupation, I guess, what would you say?
I am a employment specialist for adults with developmental disabilities, and I work for a vocational program, so anyone that is referred by a regional center, they come to us and they say, I want a job. So then I help them find a job. I help them groom for the job. I help them socialize. We do mock interviews. Then once we do the real interviews, I sit with them for support and I advocate as to why they should get the job.
Okay. Oh.
So, which is pretty cool because a lot of times the employee or the employers might not know that this person has a disability. They just might think that they're being rude or being awkward because they're not talking enough.
Okay.
So that's when I step in and I discreetly say I'm here to support them without giving away information that they have a disability. So I just kind of say, oh, by the way, I'm his vocational specialist and I'm here to give him that extra support from his vocational program. And then they get the hint, like, okay, this, and then I say at the end, like, oh, you guys qualify for a WOTC, hiring, you know, without discriminating against sex, religion, disability. And then they kind of get the hint, like, oh, okay, yeah. So
did I already say Stater Brothers really hires a lot of people with disabilities?
Yes, and it's awesome, and Northgate. And I'm so happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
And Chuck E. Cheese, which is amazing.
Okay.
I now love Chuck E. Cheese. I will never go there to eat, but
they serve beer. The salad bar is actually not bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Mechanical rat pizza.
Yeah.
But I will never eat there just because I don't trust children touching everything. But it's
why?
It's just they like.
What do you? Yeah.
Like the table.
They touch anything.
Those balls.
Because they touch.
I think it's because I saw a kid like sneeze into his hand when we were doing an interview at Chuck E. Cheese, and then he put his hand on all the breadsticks in the hot bar. And I was like, you little asshole. Like, where's your mother?
Oh, I know that. I know that one. That's the only sign language I know.
Where's your mother? And so I was just like, oh, I've never ever eaten here. But it's pretty badass to see that they have a lot of people there on the spectrum, especially since they're very friendly towards people with autism. They have events, I guess, on Saturdays or something.
Yeah, early in the morning.
Yeah. It's so awesome.
Where they really turn the lights down, the noises, everything.
Yes. Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
why do more people know about that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why? So, but it's pretty cool because one of the girls that I was supporting, where she got hired, there's 5 other people with disabilities that work there. Okay. So they don't say like, oh, we have enough of those. Yeah. Right. Instead, they're like, bring them on. Come on. Like,
you got it.
Come on. So it's cool to see that.
Are they getting fair wages?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
The company that I work for is against like underpaying.
Okay.
Actually, a lot of companies might not. They're not so sure about hiring at the moment. Like, if they see that, you know, how would this person do in an environment like this? Right. So we offer internships, which means the person does not get hired, but they work for the company.
We'll prove it. It's pretty much like we'll prove it to you.
Yes. So it's like 3 months. They work for the company for free, but we are matching what the company is paying. So if the company pays $12, we'll match that.
You'll match it, or you just pay it for because they're not even paying.
Well, basically, it's
so we pay them a paycheck.
Okay.
So we ask
during the internship.
Yes. So we ask the company.
That's fucking awesome.
I know, it's really cool.
Legally, what's in place? Like, if the kid did good or adult did good, and after this 3 months, like there were no discrepancies, but they still.
I advocate for them to get hired. Like, I've made it clear. Like, you're getting this free training for 3 months. You're getting this free labor for 3 months. You better, or like, please keep at least have something set in stone. Like, and I try to say it as professionally as I possibly can, because I can't say like, you better hire them.
And firmly though, you have to say it.
But I say, this is free training. This is, they're training for you. So when the position opens up in 3 months, you'll consider them, and then you'll have them. So a lot of places do say, that's awesome. We'll do that. Unfortunately, some haven't. But it's cool because I got this girl I didn't get it. Actually, she got it. Because I always try and make sure that they're working towards it, not just having it handed to them. She is on the spectrum. She has a really hard time socializing, so she comes off a little bit bitchy to people. She doesn't like being around big crowds, but I found out she loves dogs. Okay. So, I mean, I love dogs. I hate people, so cool, you know? And, yeah, she's kicking ass. And the owner is just emailing me back and forth, like, hey, like, she's doing awesome.
Okay.
So if she continues this, like, we'll have something open.
Now, I also wanted to know, how long is this vocational, like, is it a time frame that they're with you guys? Is it like...
So once they get hired for a company, they have to have job coaching. So there's that job coach there to support them, making sure, you know, nobody's bullying them, making sure that they're getting that extra support, that they're not falling behind. And then so it starts off at 100%, and then over the next 6 months, it goes down. So the last month, it's about 20%, and then eventually they just get rid of the job coach. And
so kind of weaning them off.
Yeah, you know, just kind of training them. And then once they're done, it's like, okay, you're on your own from now. Until they say, hey, actually, I don't want this job anymore. Can you help me find another job?
I was going to say, do they come back?
Oh, yeah. Or if they unfortunately get let go due to, like, behaviors or something happens, then they come back to us, and then we just pick up and say, okay, let's find something else now. I've had one guy right now who has had 12 jobs in 6 months.
Damn, at least it's not higher.
He, like, lasted one day as, like, the Easter bunny at the mall, and then he said, I don't want this. And
so he didn't want it.
Yeah, so which is cool, you know, make your choice, whatever you want.
Yeah. So, let's just be honest.
Yeah. I mean, so...
some people just stay there miserable and are miserable to people, so better just... Yeah.
Or, like, he flipped off his boss at Golden Corral, and I was like, you know, let's try not to do that. And we had recently had an interview at Disneyland, and he said that, and I was like, you know, next time probably not mention that you flipped off your boss,
right?
It's not,
especially at Disneyland.
Yeah. And so they told him, yeah, sorry, we can't move forward with your application. And he was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that. I was like, yeah, it's fine. We'll work on that. So it's just little things like that too, making sure social interactions. Things aren't being said, like, I'm so-and-so, and I have a girlfriend, and we do this and that and that.
I had a friend that was autistic, like, I guess I was 18 or so. I used to catch the bus, and I met him on the bus. And we were just, like, friends.
So
We'd be on the bus, like, all the time, right? So then, like, for a couple of years, like, same route. So, years later, I'm talking about 10, 15 years later, I see this guy. He's at my husband's job.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, see. He remembered me too. He was like, hey, Erica. Aww. And I was like, I'm Eddie's wife. And he was like, oh, I know Eddie. And so now, like, my husband and I, and they were friends too. So it was, like, kind of interesting. Like, oh, we both know C.
But awesome.
C used to do all that stuff at work. Because my husband used to say, oh, you wouldn't believe what C did today.
Goodness.
Like,
I love that so much. So Nick works at the Apple store. And it's the funniest thing because a lot of people that I used to work with in my groups, they go and bug him at the Apple store. And they just always go in there looking, hey, where's Nick? Is Nick working today? And they have to tell them, like, no, not today. And when he goes in for his shift, they're like, some guy was, like, yelling for you anywhere. And it's just so funny to see that, you know, like, we'll talk about people and it's cool to have that connection with him, like you do with your husband. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, you would not believe what so-and-so did today. And he's just like, what? Or we used to work for the same company, and so he would see the people that I would work with, and he'd say, like, oh, so-and-so says hi, and that they love you, and they miss you, and they also did this, and or they pulled their pants down, or they did this today. And just, like, I love them so much.
Yeah. He was aggressive. Like, I think that's probably why I became friends with him. Like, on the bus, he didn't play that bully crap. He would be like, what the fuck? And he cussed and everything. He's like, what the fuck are you looking at? Like, I'm like, damn, okay.
I love it. I love it so much. Like my girlfriend that I hang out with often, she seriously, some of the things that she does in public, I'm like, who the hell are you? Like, she'll try and take her shirt off in public.
Oh no, don't do that.
I know. And I'm just like, no, we don't do that. Or like one time at a bus stop, she was trying to like twirl around the stop sign, and I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm taking my clothes off. Oh, just little things like that. And I'm just like, so that's what's inspired me to be just more open about myself and not care what people think. Being around people like that, that just don't care, don't give a shit, and don't judge others. Mm-hmm. And it's cool because you find that a lot in this field. They don't care what you look like. They don't care who you are, what color you are, what size you are. They love you. Most.
As long as you're cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, some I have that, I guess you could say, like, philosophy or thought that people with disabilities, like, are assholes. Like, some. So it's just, like, someone who is able-bodied can be a bitch. Like, people with disabilities are not innocent. They can be assholes.
They're people.
Yeah. Treat them,
Mm-hmm.
So,
but sometimes, like, there's impulses and things involved as well that, like, hinder them from controlling
exactly. And then but
the asshole part of it.
Exactly. But I just always try and teach people, like, it's totally okay. There's some people that I don't like with disabilities. It's okay to not like someone with a disability. You don't have to be nice to them just because they have a disability. Like, some of them are assholes, some of them are bitches. And I treat them just like I would anyone else.
That's interesting, because I would feel like you have to be nice.
Yeah, and there is that guilt where you're just like, oh, like, there is that guilt, but, like, learning over time and just, like, educating myself or being educated by, like, other people who have been in the field, especially, like, one of my really great friends, he's a behavioral therapist. And he's taught me, no, like, some are dicks. Like, and it's okay because we're all dicks.
And how are they going to learn? If I'm like, okay, and I was speaking of me, like, I thought I was supposed to be nice all the time. Like, if someone with disabilities was, like, a complete asshole, I do feel like, oh, no, I'm going to be nice, right?
Yeah.
But how will they ever learn that was wrong, the way you're behaving, if someone doesn't let you know?
And it's crazy because I worked with this girl. I haven't seen her in years, but she was a complete bitch. And she, like, seriously, like, she was such a bitch. Little things that she would do, like, she'd say, oh, you look fat today, or you're so ugly and I'm so better than you. Little things like that. Or she'd grab my phone and go through my contacts, or like, she would text other people inappropriate stuff. So she was just clearly a bitch. And when I first started in, like, adult day services, learning that, I was like, oh, I have to be nice to her because she has a disability. And then my previous boss was like, no, she's just a bitch. Like, she is a bitch. And she would even tell her, you're being kind of a bitch right now. And so then that's when I started learning.
And they are adults, too.
Yes,
That's the difference. I keep thinking, like...
Oh, children?
I keep thinking, like, teenagers in my head, but yes, they're adults. So.
Yeah, and so that's when I started learning. And under her guidance, she started teaching me a lot that I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. Like, this is really cool knowing that I'm learning so much under this person, and that's the kind of person that I want to be someday. Just like my previous supervisor, like from 5 years ago. She just taught me so much that I'm like, I want to be like her when I'm 20 years deep into this field.
And that's great that you had that experience early on, too.
Oh, hell yeah, yeah. And
it totally, like, kind of molded you and kind of guided you.
Oh, yeah, totally. And I think at first I would get so offended if people use, like, wrong terminology, or if, they said stuff wrong.
Can you remind me of the correct terminology, because I also want to say special needs.
Yeah, no, and it's, you know, I think now it's just fine, like, as long as you're not using the word, like, handicap or, like, retarded. Well,
remember, like, back in the days, I don't know when that was the word.
But can I call, like, my best friend retarded?
Yeah, I mean...
in her own bedroom.
You know...
I know you don't like it. I know you definitely wouldn't like it.
You know, I have friends that use the term, like, oh, that's so retarded, or like, you're being such a retard right now, and I do get really hurt, especially because, like, Nick has a brother with autism, so I get very defensive, and then I also grew up with an uncle who had cerebral palsy, so I know, like, you know, he obviously couldn't understand that was a hurtful term, because he was nonverbal, and, you know, developmentally, like, in his brain, like, he was, like, 10 years old, so he was never taught, like, oh, that's a bad term, and I don't think, you know, he would understand how to say, like, don't say that to me, but it just all depends. It's just like how some people say, oh, that's so gay, you know.
Same exact thing.
I would never ever say that. You know, like, of course we've all said that when we were younger, but now, because I know how hurtful it is to people, I would never use that term. Or
yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
like I don't, like, I don't use that term, but I think that's what it is. It's like recognizing that it is, like, it does have it, because, like I said, like, I have close family members that are autistic and the same thing, so you realize, like, it does have like a negative impact, so why would you...
You know, and it's crazy because doctors try to, well, at least the doctors that I've interacted with, they try to kind of, like, say, like, oh, no, it's a medical term and it's okay to use it. But no.
Wait, which word? Retarded?
Like, yeah, you know, like, oh, mentally retarded. But no, sorry.
No,
like,
we've changed the terminology.
Exactly. Yeah, and
with the program.
Thank you.
Don't call me Negro either.
Yeah.
By the way.
I've heard EMTs use that term, like, oh, like, with a medical emergency where I had to go to the hospital with someone. And I heard an EMT who's obviously older, so, you know, a lot of people older are set in their ways, but he straight up told the nurses in the ER in front of other patients, oh, he's mentally retarded, but, like, super loud. And so I got really pissed off, and I was like, please don't use that term. And he just kind of threw it in my face, like, well, it's a medical term. And so he made a side comment, like, gosh, millennials, and, like, they get so butthurt over everything, and I was just like, okay, like, whatever, you know, you're not important to me. I could give two shits about you.
But also, can you understand that a majority of people don't know what to say?
Yeah.
So, and it does sound like you're sensitive to not, I mean, you're offended, like, internally, but I feel like you project it in a positive way, like when you let people know, like, this is not cool, or whatever.
Before I would go off on people, and I've kind of learned to say, like, kind of just smile and say, like, hey, I have cousins who still use it.
Like a teaching, educational moment.
Yeah, you know, I have an older cousin who I love to death, and he is awesome, but he's even called me the R word. And I just kind of look at him like, really?
Yeah.
And he goes, fuck, I forgot, I'm so sorry. And I just go, come on, like, really? Or friends, or even people who work in the field. Like, I've heard people, you know, like, teachers, anyone just use that term. And I'm just like, really? Like, come on. You should know by now. Like, that's not... Let's use something different, you know?
But there's so many. I mean, not like you're
actually unless you're actually a retard, then you could say retard.
No, like me, I say nigga all the time. So.
No, like, there's a skit. There's like a comedian did a skit. Like, anyways,
it's
that is kind of true though. Like, Gay people can say fag if they want.
Yeah, no, that's a whole different thing that I've never actually, researched.
I feel like, the one time I did call some dude a fag, it was because I thought he was straight.
Like you're just trying to offend him.
Yeah. And I was like, and he was like, yes, I am. I'm like, damn it.
Oh, damn, dude, he was. Oh, man.
Yeah. In the 5th grade one time, I just remember going home and crying my eyes out because I was just so hurt that people were laughing at me. Because I ran into my classroom really late. I think I was probably 15 minutes late, and my teacher was already in the middle of a lecture or something. And so she just looks at me like, why are you late? And so then in front of everyone I go, oh, because I was helping the retards. And everybody just starts laughing, but I didn't know, that was such a
derogatory.
Yeah, and I'm 10 years old. I still wear Care Bear stuff, and I have 2 pigtails, and I'm wearing a training bra,
Right.
So, and I just remember everybody in the class was laughing, and I'm just looking around, what was so funny? And then I start crying in front of everybody. And I'm just sitting there and my teacher's yeah. And I'm ugly crying just on my desk.
That's so funny.
And my teacher's she's like, oh, everyone shut up. She's like, it's in the 70s when everyone used to say that they were gay, but they actually meant that they were happy. And so I just remember oh my gosh, I would cry over everything as a child. I remember the special education classes were called RSP. And if I heard kids saying oh, the retarded stupid people classes, I would just start crying over it, and I would just say stop it, leave them alone. Just not knowing hey, kids are fucking stupid, but I was just stop. Don't call them that. And then I would just run away and cry, and
it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. That sucks. So you said this started in high school,
I was 16, I want to say.
Buddy. So is it part of I know when I went to high school, you had different fields you could kind of go into, marine biology or
It was a club, those school clubs.
Okay.
And so it's actually a pretty big nonprofit. It's called Best Buddies. And so it's now that I think about it, I'm just it's kind of fucked up because you're having these kids who don't really give a shit join these clubs just to get extra credit, and then they kind of not belittle the kids who are in special education, but just kind of saying oh, I want to be with the cute one that has Down syndrome and he's so adorable, and then if they see someone who is not the pretty disabled person who might vocalize a lot and might be drooling a little, then they're ew, I don't want to work with them. And so it just seemed a lot of teenage girls that would join the club was just oh, there's my bunny, or there's my little boyfriend, using that. And I would just get so pissed off, me being an angry, angsty teenager. Yeah. I was just fuck you, leave him alone.
Wow.
And so it was so annoying. And now that I think about it, I personally wouldn't want to join a club like that again, just because I see that.
Okay.
I see the fake boyfriend thing, or
that's a young teenage lane.
And it's crazy because when I worked as a coach, I would see a lot of my coworkers do that. There is a guy, he had a crush on me, and I have a boyfriend. I'm not interested in him, but he just constantly pursued it. He would bring me a little note or something, so I had
a coworker.
It was a client that I worked with. So I didn't feel bad, but I was just I have to let him know hey, there needs to be boundaries. And one of my coworkers continued to egg it on, saying like, "Oh, there's your boyfriend," or she would go up to him and say, "Hey, your girlfriend's there. Go give her a hug." And then he would come and give me a hug. You know?
I wouldn't like that at all.
It's so immature.
Yeah, you know. So then one day I just got really pissed off, and I turned to her and I was like, "Can you knock it off?" And so then I explained to him, "I'm not your girlfriend, okay? Like, I'm not your girlfriend, and we are friends. That's all we are." And he understood. He was like, "Okay."
Did you talk to the coworker?
I didn't, because it was during some kind of training where there's just a bunch of people around. But of course I carried that on for a while, because I just felt so uncomfortable. And then I would see parents do that. Even like when I was managing a day program, I would see a mom come in and she would bring in pictures of her daughter, and she would give them to a client, saying like, "Oh, here's your girlfriend, here's another picture of your girlfriend." Okay. The client would obviously think that, you know, okay, this girl is my girlfriend.
And be completely infatuated with this girl.
And so then I asked the mom one day, and she got really offended because I had questioned her, you know, her actions, and I said, "Would your daughter actually really be interested in this person?" And she was just kind of quiet. And I said, "Would your daughter actually really like pursue a relationship with him?" And she was like, "It's just a joke. It's not, you know, like, it's not like he's gonna understand." And I was like, "You don't know if he's actually in love with her. Have you ever asked him, like, if he really is? You know, people with disabilities feel emotions just like you and I."
Yeah.
And so then...
Maybe even stronger. Like, oh, she's a pretty girl. Like, she likes, oh, this is my girlfriend. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. And so
then he's telling
I know her mom.
Like, this is my girlfriend.
I know her mom. I know her brother.
Yeah, I mean, I would catch homeboy in the bathroom wanking off at
to her
times.
picture.
So, like, I'm like, what are you doing at home then, you know? So then I had to send him down, and I had to say, you know, that's not your girlfriend. She's not officially your girlfriend.
He's like, yeah, whatever, Debbie Downer.
Oh, no, he like totally just blew me off, and he was just like, no, that's my girlfriend.
No.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah. He was probably like, you fucking bitch, like, shut up.
He's like, you probably don't even have a boyfriend, loser.
Yeah.
She's just lonely over here.
Where's your man?
Like, haters gonna hate.
Yeah. It's the funniest thing, because he was just like, shut the fuck up, like, she is my girlfriend. And so it's like, whatever. And
Damn, that's messed up. You have to take on a lot.
Yeah.
Like that you have to be like emotional support. You have to let the boy down easy, pretty much. Like, damn.
And this is someone with OCD who, like, you know, is so set in his ways that if I even interrupt his routine, he's just like, ah! Like, he flipped a couch before, so I was just like, yeah, I don't know how to do this. Like, he's probably gonna sock me in the face.
Okay, so let's go into that. Have you ever been punched in the face?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Tell me a couple of stories about that.